Good morning, everybody. We've been talking this week about some of the persecution and the suffering that some of the apostles and the disciples went through in the early church. And I wanted to talk about Paul today in Acts chapter 14. And tomorrow I'm going to talk about Paul in 2 Corinthians chapter 11. After that, on Saturday, probably going to talk about some of the suffering that Jesus went through. And so if you want to look ahead and read 2 Corinthians 11 and then some of the suffering of Jesus in various scriptures, and be ready with your comments on that. But let's look at Acts chapter 14. Paul and Barnabas are on their first missionary journey, and they come to a city named Iconium. They had just passed through Antioch of Pisidia, and they came to Iconium. And in verse 4 it says, "But the people were divided, some sided with the Jews and some with the apostles. When an attempt was made by the Gentiles and the Jews with the rulers to mistreat them and to stone them, they learned of it and fled to Lystra and Derbe." And so when they fled there, I'm going to jump ahead to verse 19. Now keep in mind that the Jews in Iconium wanted to stone Paul, so he goes to Lystra, and it says, but in verse 19, "But the Jews came from Antioch and Iconium, and having persuaded the crowds, they stoned Paul, dragged him out of the city, supposing that he was dead. But he, when his disciples gathered about him, he rose and entered the city, and on the next day went on with Barnabas to Derbe." But he didn't stop there. Once he went to Derbe, this is what Paul and Barnabas did. They had made disciples in all of those cities. So if you read the rest of that chapter and those verses, they turned around and went right back to the cities where they stoned them, because they wanted to go and preach the gospel to the Christians there and encourage them. So they went back to encourage the people that they had just seen, and they went back to the cities where they had been stoned, knowing that God would either protect them or they would have to suffer for the cause of Christ. But they thought that it was necessary to do that, to encourage Christians and to spread the gospel. So, like I said, we don't undergo much persecution or anything today. Some people in the world do, and we don't know when we might. But be encouraged that God is with us, and He'll give us the strength to get through whatever he puts in front of us to go through. And I pray that everyone has a great day. God bless you, and bless someone today.